There's a healing power within all of us. We call this inborn
Mm.
intelligence innate. I'll call it God, whatever you want to call it. That intelligence is what tells every cell in your body what to do, from your brain down to your every cell in your body. Right? You have an afferent and efferent nerve that goes from and to the body, from the brain to the cells. So when trauma gets caught in our body and it gets stuck in our body, it causes all kinds of other issues. Like the brain starts to think it's under attack, or a fight or flight response. You start to see the amygdala will get caught up in, that's the reptilian brain. And what happens with the reptilian brain is that we see that a person will get feeling like they're always in a fight or flight response. So, and I see this all the time in my practice. You'll see people come in here, they think it's anxiety. It is anxiety symptoms, but really what's happening is their brain is in a fight or flight response
Mm.
and
Mhm.
they can't get out of it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, what things can you do? Well, there's so many different approaches. Breathing is one. Yoga is such a strong place to start. Why? Because once we start to breathe and we activate the phrenic nerve, what ends up happening is, and the vagus nerve, we start to calm the body down. And that's a temporary thing until the trauma kicks back in.
Mm.
Now, trauma, there are three types of trauma. We have chemical trauma, we have emotional trauma, we have physical trauma.
Mhm.
Physical trauma will be like stored in the repair of the body. So we see that. That's easy to fix, physical trauma. As long as it's not gone too far gone, the body heals itself that way.
Mhm.
Chemical trauma, we change the body's chemistry through nutrition, through supplementation, through detox. That's one way to get rid of chemical trauma. But emotional trauma is one that doesn't go away so quick and so easily. And
Mm.
there's a reason. Emotional trauma sticks around because of the story we keep telling
Mhm.
ourselves.
Mhm.
So I like psychotherapy. I think it's important, but I don't think psychotherapy is the only thing you can do to get rid of
Right.
trauma. I think psychotherapy
I
is
agree.
really good to get rid of the story, to change the
Yeah.
story, or to accept the story.
Mhm.
And that trauma is still in the body. You get used to that trauma.
For sure. Like I remember, like, okay, had done so much like reframing or rewriting of the narratives that I had told myself, but then there was still the element until I learned like the different emotional release techniques or like different things to move it out of my body. I didn't know. I was like, why am I still like having some of these, symptoms or something? And so it's really interesting too. I didn't even look at trauma as like those three separate entities or categories. So I like how you broke that down.